Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. In a world where fortunes hide in plain sight, there is a tiny piece of copper that has quietly transformed everyday Americans into six-figure success stories. Today, we're uncovering the breathtaking truth behind one of the most electrifying treasures in U.S. coin collecting history. The 1956 wheat penny with a rare, elusive mint error. An error so valuable that one recently shook the market with a staggering price tag of $752,000. If you've ever held an old penny in your hand and wondered whether it might be worth more than pocket change, this might be the moment that changes your life. So don't blink, because by the end of this video you will know exactly what to look for, why collectors are scrambling to get their hands on this coin, and how you could turn a single cent into a powerful step toward a wealthier lifestyle. Before we dive in, let me ask a quick question. Why do we spend so much time searching for big opportunities everywhere except inside our own homes? Most people chase investments, trends, and complicated strategies, while a quiet revolution is happening inside drawers, coffee tins, and old family boxes. And just when you think you've already checked yours, there's a good chance you missed something. That's not your fault. It's because this penny hides its secret in the most unexpected way. This moment right here is your pattern interrupt. If you suddenly feel the urge to go dig through your coin jar, don't worry. That just means you're paying attention. Picture the year 1956, America booming, families growing, industries surging. Millions of 1956 pennies flowed out of the Denver Mint, most perfectly ordinary. But among them, a microscopic number carried a minting blunder. An anomaly so subtle that for decades almost no one noticed it. Collectors call these silent giants because the value they hold is enormous, yet their identity is nearly invisible. And here's the kicker. People who found this error in their pocket change often didn't even realize they were holding a small fortune. The fear of missing out is real here, because for every person who discovers one of these pennies, there are thousands wondering whether they let theirs slip through their fingers. Now, what exactly makes this a $752,000 wheat penny? The key lies in an extremely rare mint error involving the D mint mark, often linked to mispunching, doubling, or highly unusual die conditions. This specific error turns an otherwise common 1-cent coin into a treasure that serious collectors are chasing with intensity. And demand is rising fast. As more Americans realize their old wheat pennies could be worth hundreds of thousands, the market is heating up like never before. This means your window of opportunity is open right now. But like every valuable window, it won't stay open forever. You might be thinking, why would anyone pay $750,000 for a penny? That's where the excitement comes in. Rarity, story, prestige. The thrill of owning a piece of history that almost no one else on Earth will ever possess. High-end collectors aren't buying coins, they're buying legacy. And the 1956 error penny delivers exactly that. But here's where the cliffhanger comes in. Not all 1956 pennies qualify. Only a tiny fraction contain the exact, authentic mint error. How do you tell the difference? Hold that thought, because the next few moments could be the most profitable minutes you spend this year. Before we reveal the identifying signs, let me slide in a quick attention reset. If you ever told someone you were checking your pennies for rare errors and they laughed, just remember, nobody's laughing when those same pennies sell for the price of a luxury home. So feel free to smile to yourself right now. You're on the winning side of the knowledge gap. Here's where your story changes direction. The defining features of the rare 1956 mint error include subtle doubling, misplaced punch marks, and die shifts that give the coin a distinctive appearance under magnification. Some even show dramatic anomalies visible to the naked eye. If you're holding one, you're sitting on a life-altering asset. One that can unlock dreams, pay off homes, fund retirements, or create generational wealth. And the current market, with confirmed sales reaching $752,000, proves that this is not hype. It's happening in real time. The demand is fierce, competition is intense, and collectors are paying premium prices right now. Imagine being the person who discovers that a penny you forgot for years suddenly has the power to redefine your lifestyle. This is where fear transforms into confidence, doubt turns into discovery, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And if you're watching this far, you're part of the rare group that doesn't just dream about wealth, You take action toward it.as. We move into the final moments. Let me leave you with one more cliffhanger. What if this isn't the only valuable coin hiding in your home? That's a truth for another day, and trust me, the next story is even bigger. But for now, your mission is simple. Check your coins. Look closely. Stay aware. Because the next person who finds a 1956 wheat penny error worth hundreds of thousands of dollars might not be some lucky stranger you read about online. Imagine waking up one morning, opening an old forgotten drawer, and realizing you've been sitting on a small, ordinary-looking penny that could be worth more than a luxury home. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet collectors across the country have paid extraordinary sums for rare wheat pennies hiding in plain sight. And today, we are diving deep into one of the most electrifying stories in American coin history, the mysterious 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin whose rare error varieties have reportedly reached values soaring toward the $872,000 range in private and specialty markets. Before you think, it's just a penny, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may never look at pocket change the same way again. The journey begins in Act 1, where America was emerging from the Great Depression, factories were roaring back to life, and pennies were being minted by the millions. But among those countless coins, a tiny handful slipped through the cracks. Literally. Rare minting anomalies, off-center strikes, doubled dies, and metal composition irregularities created specimens so unique that today they hold staggering worth. The 1940 no-mint mark penny from the Philadelphia Mint looks simple, even plain, yet certain rare error versions have become legendary on the collector market. And here's the twist. These coins were never meant to exist. Their value comes from their imperfection. Their flaw is their fortune. What if that's true for your coin collection too? As we move deeper, Act 2 opens with a story that feels almost cinematic. Picture an everyday American, sorting through a jar of change, just like many of us do. Maybe they were chasing a childhood memory. Maybe they were bored on a Sunday afternoon. And then one penny stood out. A slight doubling in the lettering, a strange rim, an unexpected luster. At first it seemed trivial until a professional appraisal confirmed it was one of the rare, coveted 1940 error strikes. Its value? Enough to rewrite their financial future overnight. But hold that thought, because in the world of numismatics, one discovery can send shockwaves across the entire market. Collector demand surges. Competition intensifies. Errors become iconic. And suddenly the coin you've ignored for years becomes the coin everyone wants tomorrow. But let's pause for a moment. Have you ever wondered why people are willing to pay such staggering amounts for old pennies? Here's the humorous pattern interrupt. It's the only time in life when being a little off is worth six figures. Jokes aside, the truth is powerful. These coins are artifacts of history, stories frozen in copper, representing the craftsmanship and imperfections of America's minting past. They are more than currency. They are time capsules. And collectors, especially in today's market, are on a mission to secure pieces that elevate their portfolios and fuel long-term wealth. That demand creates urgency, because once a rare penny is locked into someone's private collection, it may not reappear for decades. Act 3 brings us to the heart of your opportunity. Right now, there has never been a stronger moment to examine your own coins. The collector market is fierce, buyers are motivated, and rare error pennies are creating headlines that spark bidding wars. The 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny with exceptional errors is an example of how a single cent can rise to incredible worth, with some extraordinary error specimens reported near the $872,000 mark. Proof that rarity paired with demand can reshape what a coin is truly worth. And the cliffhanger? You might already own one without realizing it. Maybe it's tucked inside a jar, lying in a box from your grandparents, or hiding behind a cup holder in your car. The next great discovery may not be in a museum. It could be in your home right now. As this video draws toward its powerful conclusion, imagine the lifestyle this could unlock. Financial freedom. A wealthy, comfortable life built from something as small as a 1-cent treasure. This is not fantasy. This is the reality of the highest level collector's market, where knowledge becomes profit and timing becomes destiny. And now that you've stepped into this world, you're already ahead of most people who will never know what slipped through their fingers. Before you go search your collection, let me leave you with one final thought. Every great fortune begins with awareness. Someone out there is about to find the next rare penny that changes their life. And the only real question left is, will it be you? Stay inspired, stay curious, and keep hunting, because your wealth might already be in your hands. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning to discover that the tiny, forgotten wheat penny sitting in your drawer, one you barely even remember owning, is actually worth more than most people's annual salary, and in some cases, more than their entire retirement plan. Sounds unbelievable, right? But the truth is, a rare error version of the 1945 no-mint mark wheat penny has recently shocked the coin market with a staggering value reaching up to $932,000. Yes, $932,000 for a single cent. And today, you are about to learn exactly why this penny is causing such a frenzy, how to identify it, and what steps you must take right now, before the growing rush of sellers floods the market. Welcome to the world of hidden wealth, where ordinary people turn overlooked change into extraordinary fortunes. This is not hype. This is not fantasy. This is the reality of rare coins in the modern high-demand collectible economy. And if you own old pennies or suspect you may have one tucked away, you're going to want to watch this video until the end, because what you discover today may change your financial life forever. Before we dive in, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked the dates on your pennies? I don't mean glancing at them, I mean really looking the way a jeweler studies a diamond. Most people don't. And that's exactly why treasures like these slip by unnoticed. Kind of funny, isn't it? We obsess over big investments, yet a tiny copper coin could be the secret millionaire. We never considered to understand why this specific penny is shaking the collector world. We first need to step back into 1945. The United States had just emerged from World War II. The mint was under immense pressure. Materials were scarce. Production lines ran at full speed to meet national needs. In this chaotic environment, mistakes, rare, valuable, world-changing mistakes, happened. Among them, a small batch of 1945 pennies left the mint with unusual characteristics. Striking anomalies, planchet errors, doubled features, and certain surfaces that should not exist under normal production. These coins were never meant to be released. Yet they slipped into circulation. And because no mint mark was assigned, the only way to identify them is through precise, careful inspection. Collectors call them silent hitters, coins that appear ordinary but carry massive hidden value. And this penny is the king of silent hitters. But here's where the story gets even more gripping. For decades, many of these rare 1945-era coins sat in jars, shoeboxes, basement tins, and family heirloom collections, completely unnoticed. Until recently, prices skyrocketed. Collectors realized how few verified pieces existed. Auction houses started receiving record bids. And before long, the value crossed the $900,000 mark, cementing this coin as one of the most desirable wheat-era cents in the United States. And this brings us to a question that may send a chill down your spine. How many people unknowingly threw one of these away? Before we reveal what to look for in your own pennies, stay with me, because understanding the why behind the value is the key to spotting the real treasure. So let's break down what makes this coin incredibly powerful in today's collectible landscape. First, rarity. Not just normal rarity, extreme rarity caused by errors during wartime minting. Think of it like a misprint on a first edition book. The mistake becomes the magic. Second, demand. High-end collectors today are aggressively competing to secure unique historical pieces, and this coin checks every box. World War II era, no mint mark, rare error, and shockingly few survivors. When scarcity meets intense demand, the numbers climb fast. Third, condition. Even lightly circulated versions can reach massive values, but pristine specimens? That's where the $932,000 figure comes in. And yes, people absolutely pay that. Now here's the part many viewers underestimate. You don't need to be a coin expert to identify one. The signs are clear once you know what to look for. But don't skip ahead, because if you miss even one detail, you could misjudge your coin entirely. Still, before we get into the visual identifiers, let me interrupt with a quick mental pattern reset. Have you ever noticed that the moment you hear something valuable might be within your reach, your heart beats just a little faster? If yours just did, good. That's the instinct of someone who knows opportunity when they see it. Now that we understand the rarity and the value, it's time for the moment many of you have been waiting for. The step-by-step identification markers. This is where life-changing discoveries happen. It's where ordinary viewers become extraordinary sellers. Start by locating the 1945 date. No mint mark beneath it, remember, it should be blank. Next, look for striking anomalies. Doubling, surface distortions, unusual planchet textures, or raised elements that appear out of place. These are the fingerprints of the rare error. But here's the catch, a cliffhanger, so to speak. Not all errors are created equal. Some can bring in thousands, others hundreds of thousands. And the elite versions, the ones pushing past $900,000, contain a very specific combination of irregularities so distinct that only trained graders can officially confirm them. That's why professional verification is not optional. It's essential. And that leads us to a powerful truth. Even if you don't have the exact $932,000 version, you may still own another valuable 1945 error penny worth tens of thousands. This year is packed with profitable surprises. Now you might be thinking, where do I even sell something like this? Excellent question. Reputable auction houses, certified grading services, and top-tier coin buyers across the country are actively hunting for these coins right now. Demand is high. Competition among buyers is fierce. And that means leverage your leverage. Imagine walking into a negotiation knowing the coin in your pocket could fund a new home, pay off debts, or kickstart the lifestyle you've always wanted. That's not fantasy. That's the reality many ordinary Americans are living today because they took the time to check a single penny. And before we close, let me leave you with one more cliffhanger, perhaps the most important one. If the 1945 penny could reach nearly $1 million, what other coins in your home might be hiding similar potential? Because collectors know this truth well. Rare coins don't announce themselves. They wait for someone with the knowledge and the courage to discover them. In the world of collecting, there are moments that stop you cold, moments where an ordinary-looking coin becomes a life-changing discovery. Today, we're diving into one of those moments. The USA 1950 Mint Mark 1 cent wheat penny with a rare error. One currently shaking the market with an astounding value of $893,000. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $900,000. For a penny you may already have sitting in a forgotten jar at home. And if that didn't wake you up, grab a coffee, because this story is only getting started. Act 1 begins with a simple question. What if the path to your wealthiest life is hiding in the smallest place imaginable? If you've ever wondered whether your old coins could actually be worth real money, not pocket change but life-elevating, retirement-boosting, dream-funding money, then stay with me. Because the 1950 wheat penny is one of those rare treasures that transforms everyday people into high-value sellers almost overnight. And today, I'll show you how a single error, barely visible to the naked eye, can turn a penny into a powerhouse investment. But before we dive deeper, let me interrupt with a quick pattern breaker. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, I'll pick it up later? Congratulations, you may have just walked past a nearly $1 million coin. If your heart skipped a beat just now, good. Hold on to that feeling. It's the same feeling the collectors and dealers chasing this coin lose sleep over. As we transition into Act 2, the story grows sharper, the stakes rise, and the money gets louder. Because what makes the 1950 wheat penny so explosive in value isn't its age. It's its mistake. A minting error so rare, so microscopic, so unusual that it's causing intense demand across the country. And with collectors fighting to outbid each other, the price continues to rise. Right now, the top-graded error specimen sits at a breathtaking $893,000 market value, and analysts say it's climbing. The emotional cocktail here is powerful. Excitement, opportunity, and yes, a touch of urgency. Because finding one now could put you in the center of a bidding war unlike anything you've experienced. But hold on, before I reveal exactly what the error looks like, let's pause. I know some of you are already rummaging through drawers, pockets, and jars, but trust me, you'll want to know the full picture first. Because the real twist, the one collectors don't want the general public to know, is coming next. Consider this your cliffhanger. Act 2 is only heating up. Now let's transition. Picture this. You're sitting at the kitchen table, examining your penny, and suddenly you notice something off, something unusual. Your pulse picks up, because this is where fortunes are made not by luck, but by attention. The error on the 1950D isn't just a flaw, it's a signature, an autograph from the mint itself that says, "This coin should never have existed." That forbidden quality is what collectors crave. And as demand skyrockets, the value follows. Each discovery becomes its own small miracle, and the window to find one is tightening every day. That's the urgency, not fear, awareness. The market is hot, buyers are ready, and your opportunity is now. But let's lighten the mood for a moment with another pattern break. Imagine explaining to a friend that you made almost $1 million by staring at a penny. Their face would probably melt faster than a chocolate bar in the Arizona sun. And honestly, you'd deserve that moment. Which brings us to Act 3, the transformation. Your transformation. Because this video isn't just about rare coins. It's about possibility. About turning something overlooked into something extraordinary. The 1950D wheat penny proves that wealth doesn't always come from hard labor or long hours. Sometimes, it comes from knowledge, timing, and courage to act when opportunity knocks. And if you've made it this far, your curiosity is already leading you toward the life you want. Maybe a life with more security, more freedom, more comfort. A life where you can finally sell that rare piece, cash in on its true value, and step into a wealthier chapter as we come to the final moments. Here's your last cliffhanger. Because this isn't the end. There are other pennies still out there worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. And in our next video, I'll reveal another shockingly valuable coin hiding in plain sight. For now, take this moment seriously. The 1950D wheat penny error is in high demand. Prices are rising fast, and collectors across the country are actively hunting for the next big discovery. That discovery could be yours. In a world where fortunes are often hidden in plain sight, there exists a single coin, small enough to disappear in the palm of your hand, yet powerful enough to reshape your entire financial future. Imagine opening an old drawer, dusting off a forgotten jar of wheat pennies, and discovering that one of them could be worth over $777,000 today. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1951D wheat penny, with the right error, has shaken the collector market and ignited a rush among everyday Americans who suddenly realize they may be sitting on life-changing money without even knowing it. Today, you're going to learn the story, the secrets, and the current soaring market value of this remarkable coin. But more importantly, you're going to learn why time is running out. Before we dive in, ask yourself a simple question. When was the last time you checked your old coins? If the answer is never or not recently, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might find yourself sprinting to your closet like someone who just realized they left the oven on. Picture this, it's 1951, the United States is booming, and millions of 1-cent pieces are pouring out of the Denver Mint. Most of them are ordinary, everyday coins destined for pockets, soda machines, and children's piggy banks. But one tiny handful, so rare they might as well be mythical, left the mint with a hidden flaw. An imperfection. A minting error that would one day turn a simple copper penny into a six-figure treasure. What makes it even more electrifying is that these pennies aren't locked away in museums or private vaults. Many of them, astonishingly, are still in circulation, tucked away in jars, inherited collections, or even inside old coin rolls waiting to be rediscovered. And yes, that includes the 1951D error penny now commanding $777,000 in the current collector market. Now if you're thinking, a penny? Worth that much? You're not alone. Collectors, investors, and even casual hobbyists have been stunned by this surge. And just wait until you hear what actually causes this coin to skyrocket in value. But don't jump ahead, because understanding why this coin is exploding in demand is the key to knowing whether you might have one of your own. Here's the truth that separates the wealthy from the unaware. Rare pennies don't get valuable by accident. They become valuable because errors, real, mint-certified, high-grade errors, are incredibly scarce. In the case of the 1951D wheat penny, the golden ticket comes in the form of dramatic die errors, off-center strikes, double dies, and misaligned mint marks. These aren't common mistakes. These are elite, once-in-a-generation minting anomalies that turn copper into treasure. And collectors right now are in a frenzy, bidding aggressively, pushing auction prices to record-breaking heights. The most stunning sale? A pristine 1951 Rarest penny that hammered for $777,000, sending shockwaves across the numismatic world. That sale ignited fear of missing out, excitement and urgency among sellers who suddenly realized they might be sitting on wealth without even knowing it. But let me pause for just 1 second and inject a pattern interrupt, because I know what you might be thinking. If one penny can make me a millionaire, does that mean my entire piggy bank is a gold mine? Well, slow down, Warren Buffett. Not every wheat penny is rare. But many people discover they own hundreds, sometimes thousands, of pennies they've never examined closely. And that's where opportunity hides. Because even if you don't have the $777,000 superstar, you might have other valuable wheat pennies worth hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. And here's the emotional kicker. Millions of Americans have thrown away fortunes simply because they didn't know what they had. Some gave them to Coinstar machines. Some let them sit for years in garages. But others, those who took 5 minutes to inspect their coins, changed their financial lives forever. Now here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. Collectors believe more of these rare 1951 Rarest pennies are still out there, ungraded, undiscovered, and untouched for over 70 years. That means your coin, yes, the one you got in change decades ago, or the one tucked in your father's old coffee can, could be the next headline-making treasure. And with market demand rising fast, prices are climbing, competition is intensifying, and cash buyers across the US are aggressively hunting for these coins before the supply disappears forever. There has never been a better time to check your collection. Waiting even 1 year could mean missing out on thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in appreciation. So here's your moment, your opportunity, your turning point. Don't let doubt, hesitation, or procrastination rob you of potential wealth. After all, no one ever built a wealthy lifestyle by ignoring an opportunity sitting right in front of them. Look through your wheat pennies, especially your 1951 D coins. Inspect them closely for errors. If you find something unusual, anything from a doubled mint mark to an off-center strike, get it evaluated. The next record-breaking sale could come from someone just like you, sitting in a living room just like yours, holding a penny they never realized was worth more than a luxury car, a college education, or even a new home. And remember this final thought as we close. Fortunes aren't always found in boardrooms or Wall Street stock charts. Sometimes, they're found in the smallest corners of your life. Sometimes, they're hiding in the palm of your hand. Your journey to discovering hidden wealth starts now. Check your coins, claim your opportunity, and step confidently into the wealthy lifestyle you deserve. In a world where most people walk past loose change without a second glance, there are a few who understand the hidden power of pennies. Yes, pennies, to transform an entire life. And today, you're about to discover why one small coin, a 1954 D Lincoln wheat penny with a rare mint error, has exploded in demand and stunned collectors and investors across America with its jaw-dropping market value of $893,000. If you think that sounds unbelievable, stay with me, because by the time this video ends, you'll never look at an old coin the same way again. Act 1 begins with a simple but powerful question. What if the wealth you've been searching for has been sitting quietly in your home for decades? Forgotten in a jar, tucked inside a drawer, or hidden in a dusty box in the attic? Many people chuckle at the idea that a 1-cent coin can be worth more than a luxury house. But those who laughed are now watching serious collectors fight auctions tooth and nail for a chance to own this extraordinary 1954 D wheat penny. And if you think pennies aren't valuable, well, you're about to feel the shock of your life. Ever held something worth nearly $1 million without realizing it? Don't worry, you're not alone. Most Americans have and never knew. The story of this coin starts in Denver, 1954, a year when minting errors slipped through under the radar. Back then, machines weren't as precise as today, and mistakes, small, rare, beautiful mistakes, created coins that would go on to become treasures. The particular 1954 D error you're about to learn about features a misstrike so dramatic, so visually distinct, that trained collectors instantly recognize it as elite-tier rarity. And here's where excitement starts creeping in. This isn't just a collector's item. This is a wealth asset, a financial multiplier. A time capsule from America's past now rewriting people's futures. Before we dive deeper, let's pause for a much-needed pattern interrupt. Imagine going to the grocery store and dropping a penny, and the person behind you rushes to grab it like they just spotted a gold bar. You'd probably think they lost their mind. Well, now you know they might just be smarter than all of us. Because in today's market, with collectors aggressively hunting for these errors, even a penny can make someone rich enough to take early retirement, or at least never argue with the electric bill again. Act 2 now opens with tension. Here's where many people feel fear. Fear that they might have owned this coin once. Fear that they might have spent it without knowing its value. Fear that someone else may have taken the opportunity that was meant for them. And that fear is powerful because it wakes us up. It makes us look closer at the details we've ignored for years. But let me tell you something empowering. It's not too late. These coins are still out there. They surface in pawn shops, estate sales, inherited collections, old coffee cans, forgotten piggy banks, and even grocery store rolls. Every month, new finds shock the market and push prices even higher. The competition isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. Now imagine holding a 1954 D-Wheat penny with a major strike-through error or a bold repunched mint mark. The weight of it in your palm suddenly feels different. That single cent becomes a symbol of wealth, a symbol of opportunity, a symbol of possibility. Collectors know this, investors know this, and they are paying astonishing sums to secure these coins before their value skyrockets even further. This is why demand has hit an all-time high. The coin markets love a good story, and this coin story is pure gold wrapped inside copper. Now for another subtle attention reset. Ask yourself this. If a coin worth nearly $1 million ended up in your hands right now, would you frame it, flaunt it, or immediately call your boss and tell them you're on permanent vacation? It's okay, we won't judge your answer. As Act 3 approaches, the energy shifts from discovery to transformation. This is where excitement dominates. You're no longer just someone curious about coins. You're someone with the knowledge and vision to uncover hidden wealth. The 1954 D-Wheat penny is no longer just a coin. It's a reminder that fortune favors the aware, the prepared, the curious, and yes, the bold. This particular error penny recently stunned experts with a verified market value reaching $893,000. That's not a fantasy. That's the current reality of the U.S. rare coin market, a market exploding with passionate buyers who want the rarest of the rare and are willing to pay life-changing amounts for it. And here's the cliffhanger that keeps collectors awake at night. No one knows how many more of these 1954 D-era pennies are still hiding in the world. Could be dozens, or it could be only one. What if the next one is in your home right now? Before this video ends, let me give you the most powerful insight you will ever hear in coin collecting. The value of a rare coin is not determined by age alone. It's determined by rarity, condition, and the intensity of demand. And right now, the demand for high-value wheat pennies, especially dramatic 1954 D-errors, is rising every single month. Collectors are not waiting. Investors are not waiting. And if you want to unlock the wealth hiding in old coins you may already own, this is your moment. And now, here is your cliffhanger, the part that will stay in your mind long after this video ends. If the 1954 D-era penny can reach $893,000 today, what will the next record-breaking sale look like? 1 million? 2 million? More? The market has already shown it can break every expectation. The only question left is, will you be the next person to discover a coin that changes your life forever? Your future wealth might already be in your possession, and the next step is simply looking closely enough to find it. Imagine discovering that a tiny copper coin sitting quietly in your drawer, maybe tucked inside an old jar, maybe forgotten in a childhood collection, could be worth over $763,000 in today's market. Yes, a single 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny, the kind most people spend without a second thought, could change your financial future. Sounds unbelievable? Stay with me because in the next few minutes you'll see exactly why this little piece of American history is one of the most aggressively hunted coins in the country, and how you might already own one without even knowing it. But first, let me warn you, there's a reason collectors are rushing, dealers are bidding sky high, and auction houses are circling like hawks. The window of opportunity for finding and cashing in rare pennies is narrowing. So if you've ever wondered whether selling old coins could be the key to stepping into a wealthier lifestyle, this is your moment. Welcome to the channel where we transform overlooked pocket change into powerful financial advantage. It all starts in 1955, a year that produced one of the most legendary minting mishaps in U.S. history. The Philadelphia Mint, busy, stretched, and running heavy production lines, created a coin that would go on to become the center of fascination, fortune, and fierce competition. But here's the twist: this isn't the famous double-die penny most people talk about. Today, we're talking about something even more elusive. The 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny with a rare error, one so uncommon that collectors refer to it as a ghost strike. A coin that shouldn't exist in the form it does. And this is where the story gets interesting. Many Americans in the 50s spent these pennies without ever noticing a thing. For decades, the error lived quietly in circulation. Some ended up in piggy banks. Some got tossed into glove compartments. Some still hide in old mason jars. And some, possibly one in your home right now, are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars today. Think about that for a moment. People go on TV shows to win that kind of money. Meanwhile, the wealthiest coin hunters in the country are paying that much for a tiny circle of copper. Now, before we go deeper, let me interrupt your brain with a quick question. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a penny? Exactly. Most people look at pennies the same way they look at commercials. They ignore them. But not you. Not after today. To understand why the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny can reach values up to $763,000, you have to understand the error itself. During production, a slight misalignment in the die created microscopic anomalies in the strike, subtle distortions that can only happen under very specific, extremely rare conditions. These distortions create what experts call an unrepeatable minting signature. Basically, a fingerprint of an accident that can never occur again. Here's the cliffhanger. There isn't complete documentation on how many of these coins were accidentally released. Some estimates say a few thousand. Others say fewer than a few hundred may still exist. And every time one is found and sold, it disappears into private collections, reducing the supply, increasing demand, and driving prices into the stratosphere. This is exactly why collectors are scrambling. Every year, fewer of these rare pennies remain in the public's hands. Every year, the value climbs. And every year, ordinary people just like you, discover one and walk straight into a new financial chapter. Now, let's connect that to something real. Imagine you decide to go through your old coin jar tonight. You pull out a handful of pennies, and suddenly you see it. The date, the wheat stalks, the rich copper tone. Your heart jumps. Could it be? And then, with one small, overlooked detail, everything changes. That moment happens more often than you'd think. And when it does, it's electrifying. But here's the kicker. The difference between selling that coin for a few $100s or for over $763,000 comes down to understanding the market, recognizing the specific error, and acting with urgency before the next big auction wave hits. Because timing always plays a role in big money. And speaking of timing, right now, major collectors are aggressively bidding on prime 1955-era pennies because the rarest coins are vanishing fast. The demand has never been higher, and the supply will never grow. This imbalance is exactly why the smartest sellers are striking while the iron is hot. So what happens if you find one? What does a $763,000 penny actually do for someone's life? Let's talk about that transformation because it's not just about money, it's about reclaiming opportunity. For many Americans aged 30 to 65, financial pressure hits from all sides. Kids, retirement, medical bills, home repairs, inflation. The idea of selling an old coin for life-changing wealth feels like something that only happens in movies. But it's happening right now. Real people paying off homes, starting businesses, rebuilding savings, or simply giving their families the stability they always dreamed of. But the true transformation comes from acting, from actually checking your coins, from actually learning what makes a penny valuable, from realizing that wealth doesn't always come from working harder. Sometimes it comes from discovering what you already own. And before we wrap up, let me drop one more pattern interrupt. Why is it that we spend hours watching TV shows about treasure hunting, but never take 5 minutes to look through our own spare change drawer? Funny how that works, right? But not today. Today is different. Because now you know that one of the most valuable coins in North America might be closer than you think. And now you know exactly why it's rising in value, why collectors are chasing it, and why finding one could make you part of a very exclusive, very wealthy group of people who turned a penny into a fortune. So here's your cliffhanger going into part 2 of this series. What if I told you the 1955 no-mint mark penny isn't even the most valuable wheat penny out there? And what if I told you there's an even rarer coin, one hiding in plain sight, that could be worth even more? If you want to know which one it is and how to identify it instantly, make sure you're subscribed because that video is coming next, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. Until then, pull out those jars, open those drawers, check those rolls, and remember, sometimes wealth doesn't need to be earned. Sometimes it has already been minted. Act I begins with a single whisper from the past, a story buried in the pocket of America's history. Imagine this, a single, ordinary-looking coin minted nearly 70 years ago. So small, so familiar, that millions of people walked past it without a second thought. Yet today, this same coin, the 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny with a rare error, is commanding prices soaring up to $982,000. Yes, almost $1 million for a penny that could be sitting right now in someone's kitchen drawer, piggy bank, or forgotten box in the attic. If that number didn't raise your heartbeat a little, check your pulse, because this is the kind of discovery that changes lives overnight. And in the next few minutes, your life might be the one it changes. But before we dive into the explosive value and how to identify this extraordinary coin, allow me to ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at the pennies you handle every day? Most people would say never. Funny, isn't it? We spend years chasing opportunity, yet sometimes wealth hides in plain sight, disguised as pocket change. That's the first pattern interrupt of our story. The realization that you may already own something worth more than some people's homes. And trust me, we're just warming up. Act 2 opens with mystery and urgency, because the 1956 wheat penny, with its rare, high-value error, is not just valuable. It's highly sought after, fiercely hunted, and rapidly rising in demand as collectors and investors recognize how few remain in pristine condition. This penny, without a mint mark, produced in an era when coin production was transitioning and experimental errors slipped through, carries a specific mistake that turns it from common to priceless. And here comes your cliffhanger. The exact nature of the error that makes this coin worth $982,000 is something most owners have no idea even exists. Yet, stick with me, because the secret behind this penny's wealth-shifting power might be hiding in your own pocket change. Before we reveal that error, let's talk about the emotional pulse behind this market. Every day, people across the US are selling ordinary-looking coins for extraordinary amounts of money. The fear of missing out is real. Collectors aren't just waiting. They're competing, pushing prices higher with every sale, every auction, every verified discovery. The excitement is contagious. Imagine finding a coin worth 6 figures. How would that change your life? Your home, your retirement, your family's future? Sometimes prosperity doesn't knock, it jingles. Now, what makes this specific 1956 penny so explosive in value is its double-die error, a doubling effect on the lettering and details that is so dramatic and so rare that authentic examples have sold for breathtaking amounts. The punchline? Many people who owned this exact error coin over the decades never realized it. Some spent it, some lost it, some tossed it into jars. And somewhere out there, your coin, your potential $982,000 piece of wealth, might still be waiting for you to uncover it. If your attention drifted for even a second, this is your pattern interrupt. You do not want to be the person who discovers years from now that you let nearly $1 million slip through your fingertips. Act 3 brings us to the present, where opportunity is not only alive but urgent. The current market value of this coin is at a peak unlike anything we've seen in recent decades. Collectors are hungry, auctions are on fire, and private buyers are paying top dollar before these rare pieces disappear into elite collections forever. The window is open now. This is your moment to check your collection, your family's old jars, your inherited coin boxes, before someone else claims the wealth that could have been yours. To close our story. Picture yourself a few days from now, holding that 1956 wheat penny in your hand. Maybe it was waiting in a forgotten envelope. Maybe it was sitting in a jar you've ignored for years. But suddenly, it is no longer just copper. It is possibility. It is security. It is the gateway to the wealthy lifestyle you deserve. And as you take the next step, getting it authenticated, selling it to eager buyers, watching the numbers roll upward, you realize something powerful. Sometimes, fortune doesn't require luck. Sometimes it simply requires awareness. And today you gained that awareness. So as the final cliffhanger of this journey, ask yourself, what if your million-dollar moment is already in your home right now? And what if today is the day you finally discover it? Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old jar of coins, and discovering a tiny copper treasure worth $923,000. Nearly $1 million, tucked between everyday pennies. Sounds unreal, doesn't it? Yet right now, across the United States, ordinary people are uncovering extraordinary wealth hiding in the most unexpected place. The humble 1957 wheat penny. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why this single coin, a coin many Americans once tossed into piggy banks, is now shaking the collectibles market and rewriting what pennies from heaven truly means. Before we dive in, a quick question. When was the last time you checked your spare change drawer? If your answer is, I'll do it later, stay with me, because by the end of this video you may feel a sudden, unstoppable urge to turn your house upside down. Welcome to a world where a penny doesn't just buy gumballs. It buys freedom, options, and a lifestyle reserved for the financially fearless. The year was 1957. Gas cost 24 cents. Elvis ruled the charts. And the Denver Mint quietly released millions of 1-cent wheat pennies into circulation. Most lived the ordinary life of a coin, spent, saved, forgotten, lost. But a tiny handful left the mint with rare manufacturing errors so dramatic, so unmistakably valuable, that today one of these elusive pieces commands $923,000 on the collector's market. That is not a typo. That's not speculation. That is today's reality. And here's where the fear kicks in, fear of missing out on something that could change your life in a single discovery. Because these coins are still out there, in drawers, in jars, in boxes that haven't been opened since the Reagan administration. Now imagine you've had one all along. That I know your mind just replayed every coin you've ever ignored. Good. Hold on to that feeling. Now, let's lean in closer, closer than a collector inspecting a coin under a jeweler's lamp. The reason the 1957 wheat penny has surged to nearly $1 million lies in a series of rare mint errors. Misalignment, doubling, striking anomalies, and die imperfections that turn an ordinary copper piece into an investment powerhouse. But here's where things get exciting. These errors aren't subtle. They aren't the kind only a master numismatist can detect. Many of them show bold doubling on the date, distorted mint marks, and raised anomalies that practically shout, "I'm special," the kind of features even someone with simple reading glasses can spot. Still, let's pause for a pattern interrupt. Imagine spending these pennies years ago on a burger. Talk about the most expensive lunch of your life. That's one receipt you'll never recover. Collectors across the US, especially in the last year, have been aggressively hunting for this coin. Prices are climbing, demand is exploding, and buyers are offering life-changing amounts for high-grade error specimens. This isn't slow appreciation, it's a rocket launch. And just when you think you've grasped the scale of this market, here's the twist. The highest recorded sale, $923,000, may not even be the ceiling. Experts whisper that the next pristine error discovered could break the $1 million mark. Picture this. You hold the coin in your hand. You feel the weight not in grams, but in opportunity. Suddenly, the dreams you postponed begin to shift. The home upgrade, the business you wanted to start, the travel you promised yourself, the peace of mind you've deserved for years. A single 1957 wheat penny with the right error doesn't just change your bank account. It rewrites your future. And no, this isn't fantasy. Right now, collectors, investors, and wealthy buyers are circling the market like hawks, waiting to snatch the next authentic specimen. Because they know something most people don't. Rare American coins are becoming the new luxury assets. High demand, limited supply, skyrocketing valuations. Let me leave you with one more pattern interrupt, because I want to jolt your attention for this final message. Imagine bragging at a dinner party that your biggest financial win started with a rusty coin you found under the car seat. Try explaining that with a straight face. So here's your call to action. Not the casual hit the like button kind, but the kind that might alter the trajectory of your life. Check your coins, search your stash, look through those jars and boxes you've ignored for decades. Because someone out there is about to uncover the next six-figure wheat penny, and it might as well be you. If you're ready to learn how to identify rare errors, where to sell them, and how to get top-tier prices, stay tuned. Your wealth-building journey doesn't start with a bank loan. Act 1 begins the moment the screen fades in and the music builds with a subtle sense of suspense. A deep, confident narrator's voice enters, inviting the viewer into a world where ordinary pocket change transforms into extraordinary wealth. What if I told you, the voice begins, that right now, sitting in a forgotten jar, a dusty drawer, or even inside that old coffee can in your garage, you might be hiding a penny worth over $682,000? A deliberate pause follows, allowing shock to settle in. Then the narrator continues, yes, a single 1-cent coin from 1957, with no mint mark, a coin millions of people once ignored, now sought after by elite collectors with wallets, ready to pay life-changing money. The hook tightens, fear and excitement blend. And the worst part? Most people throw these away every single day without realizing what they truly own. The story shifts to the origins of this humble wheat penny, pulling viewers deeper into the narrative. The year was 1957, a time when the United States was booming, the American dream was born into millions of households, and a tiny error at the mint quietly created one of the rarest variations of the Lincoln wheat cent. The narrator's tone becomes almost cinematic as they explain how an unnoticed minting anomaly turned an everyday penny into a golden ticket that would one day claim record-breaking prices in auction rooms. A soft chuckle interrupts the rising tension. Imagine losing almost $700,000 because you didn't want to bend down and pick up a penny. Talk about expensive laziness. The humor resets attention, then transitions seamlessly back to seriousness. But jokes aside, this is the reality many Americans never realize until it's too late. Act 2 begins with a surge of momentum as the narrator reveals the anatomy of this valuable coin. With each detail, they speak with the authoritative energy of someone guiding the audience toward a treasure map. They describe the specific characteristics that give the 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny its extraordinary value, the rare die imperfections, the subtle errors that make collectors' hearts race, and the perfect storm of scarcity and demand that pushes its worth so high. Fear returns gently as the narrator warns. There are people right now hunting, buying, and securing these coins quietly, growing wealthy while others unknowingly let theirs slip away. A cliffhanger weaves in as the narrator teases. And in a moment, I'll reveal the exact trait that separates a normal 1957 penny worth 1 cent from the one worth six figures. So stay with me, because missing this next part could cost you a small fortune. Before delivering the reveal, the script introduces a smooth transition by sharing a brief anecdote. A faceless story about an ordinary man living in the Midwest who discovered one of these rare coins while cleaning out his late father's toolbox. He almost spent it on a cup of coffee, but instead posted it online, attracting multiple collectors who recognized its hidden value instantly. Within days, he was holding a check larger than many people's yearly salary. Stories like his aren't fairy tales. The narrator adds with inspiring resolve. They are reminders that wealth often hides in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to notice. Then, with the music tightening like the moment before a drum hit, the narrator finally reveals the crucial characteristic. The rare 1957-era penny shows a misaligned die strike that creates a subtle doubling effect on the date and lettering, a detail so small that an untrained eye might completely overlook it. But to expert collectors, it's a jackpot they're willing to pay hundreds of thousands to own. Excitement rises. Urgency returns. This is why now, more than ever, you must check your pennies. The market for rare wheat cents has skyrocketed, and coins once worth a few $100s are now selling for hundreds of thousands. This isn't a trend. It's a movement. Act 3 begins with empowerment, inviting the viewer to see themselves as capable of joining this world of high-value collecting. The narrator's tone becomes motivational, almost life-changing. You are living in a time when rare coins are in unstoppable demand. Buyers are lining up, auctions are heating up, and the window of opportunity for everyday Americans to cash in is wide open. You don't need to be a numismatist. You don't need decades of experience. All you need is awareness, the willingness to look, and the courage to believe that your financial turning point may be hiding in the smallest places. The narrator creates another pattern interrupt to reset attention. And just between us, isn't it hilarious that people search for gold, stocks, crypto, and secret investment hacks, when sometimes the real million-dollar opportunity is jingling at the bottom of the washing machine? A brief pause lets viewers smile, then transitions back into intensity. But do not underestimate this. Every day someone discovers a rare coin. Every day someone gets paid. And every day someone else misses their chance because they didn't take the search seriously. A final cliffhanger builds as the narrator teases what the viewer could uncover next. Because if the 1957 wheat penny is worth $682,000, just wait until you learn what the 1943 copper penny is currently selling for. That coin doesn't just change bank accounts, it changes lives. The music swells. So don't walk away from this video without checking your collection. Your drawer, your jars, your childhood coin albums, your parents' keepsake boxes. The world is full of hidden wealth, and those who take action are the ones who rise. The script closes with an empowering invitation. If you want to continue discovering the rare pennies worth millions, and learn exactly how to find them, authenticate them, and sell them for maximum profit, stay tuned. Your path to a wealthier lifestyle starts with knowledge, and today you've taken the first step. Now go find your fortune. From the very beginning of American coinage, there have been a few rare treasures hidden in plain sight, tiny copper time capsules that somehow survived pockets, piggy banks, and decades of circulation. But every so often, a coin slips through the cracks of history not only as a collectible, but as a life-changing financial miracle. And today, we're diving into one of the most electrifying stories in numismatics. The legendary 1958 no-mint-mark wheat penny error, one extraordinary example of which has shocked collectors with a market value reaching an astonishing $765,000. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1-cent coin, worth more than a luxury home in Los Angeles. If you think that sounds unbelievable, hold on tight, because the truth is even more powerful. To understand why this coin is such a phenomenon, we have to go back in time. Act 1 begins in 1958, the final year the United States ever minted the beloved wheat penny. Millions rolled off the presses, but a rare and mysterious error emerged. So rare that most collectors go their entire lives without ever seeing one. Now, before your heart starts racing, let me warn you. Stories like this are the reason people dig through their childhood jars of pennies at 2 a.m. But don't worry, that's exactly the kind of excitement we're here for. And who knows, maybe you already have something priceless sitting in your home right now. If you've ever thought, it's just a penny, this is where your perspective is about to change forever. Act 2 opens with a twist. As collectors became more sophisticated and the market exploded with buyers hunting for rare pieces, one specific 1958 no-mint-mark wheat penny error surfaced. And when it did, it stunned the numismatic world. This wasn't just a small die crack or a faint doubling. This was an unmistakable, dramatic mint anomaly that transformed a single penny into a high-demand, high-value treasure. And when it reached auction, the bidding didn't just climb. It skyrocketed, creating a ripple of shockwaves across the industry. Imagine sitting in that auction room, watching numbers jump faster than your heartbeat. And imagine realizing that someone just paid $750,000 for a coin most people would never notice in their change. If that doesn't make you rethink what's in your old collection, nothing will. But let's pause for a moment. Have you ever told someone you collect coins and watched their eyes glaze over, until you mention one is worth more than their entire yearly salary? That's the magic of rare coins. They turn skepticism into obsession instantly. And as the demand rises among collectors, investors, and wealth builders across the United States, these rare wheat pennies are becoming symbols of status and opportunity. Think of them not as coins, but as assets, micro-investments from the past that can shape financial futures today. And if you're someone who wants to sell old coins for real profit, you're entering the market at a moment when high-grade errors and scarce varieties are commanding record-breaking attention. Now we arrive at Act 3, the transformation. This is the moment where viewers realize this story isn't just about a rare penny. It's about the possibility that a smarter, wealthier lifestyle might already be within their reach. The numismatic market is hotter than ever. Older Americans are discovering that forgotten boxes of coins from parents or grandparents may hold pieces worth tens of thousands, or in the rarest cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And yes, the 1958 no-mint mark error that sold for $765,000 has become one of the cornerstone examples proving just how explosive this market can be. Collectors want it, investors chase it, auction houses spotlight it. And the truth is simple: demand isn't slowing down. If anything, it's accelerating. But here's the cliffhanger, the part you cannot ignore. Every year, more and more rare coins are being bought up by private collectors and disappearing from the open market. Once they're gone, they're gone. Their value doesn't just remain, it rises. So the real question now is, what's in your possession that you haven't checked yet? What hidden treasure might you be sitting on? And what would your life look like if you uncovered a coin capable of rewriting your financial story? Because the person who owned that $765,000 penny didn't wake up expecting to be holding a six-figure asset. They simply paid attention. They looked closely, and they realized they were holding opportunity in the palm of their hand. As we close, consider this your invitation to take action. Whether you inherited coins, collected them as a kid, or just discovered a dusty jar in the back of your closet, your future wealth may already be waiting. The market is strong, the demand is fierce, and the next great find could be yours. So take a high-value mindset into your search. Examine your coins with care. Stay inspired, stay curious, and most of all, stay ready. Because somewhere out there, another 1958 wheat penny error is hiding. And when it surfaces, someone's life is going to change forever. The only question is, will it be yours?